Guys, we've lowered prices on the entire eBay store. We are going to try and sell stuff, and today we're going to list some more stuff onto the store to ideally help that stuff sell. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I just shot an entire video regarding promoted listings and adjusting prices and running sales on eBay and doing all these things that will ideally help us deal with some of our stale inventory. Check out that video if you haven't already seen it. But today's goal is to actually add more items to our eBay store so we can help those inventory or those items move. So as you know, it's that time of year, we have slower sales, and Airval and I have lined up a whole bunch of really great opportunities to buy inventory and things. But ultimately, if we want to be able to afford them, we need to have some cash flow here. So our goal is to sell as much as possible and list as much as possible here over the next few weeks to try and be able to take advantage of some of these opportunities. And ultimately, as you guys know, this will help us grow into our goal of having one of the largest video game stores on eBay. So with that said, let's get into it. And ironically, I don't think we're listing too many video games today, but we will be listing plenty of stuff around that so we can ideally grow the store. So let's start off here with a few video games that do need to get done. This was just a couple extras I had from the lot, so we had just sort of wrapped up. Couple 3DS games here that were all the same, and then some new games, and then this guy here. And I think there's actually some value here. Like, this was like a $15 game. The one other thing that I need to list is the NCAA 14 manual for PS3. I just have the manual for it, but that's a very valuable game, so I think we'll list that for around $20. And then the rest of these will just go up at price sharing prices. And just like that, I have 4 of them drafted here, and the rest of them I forgot to draft and went ahead and listed, but there you guys can see the prices. So not bad at all, and the rest of them are already listed, so that's good. So yesterday, guys, I spent quite a bit of time with Airval going through the unit, going through some stuff that we hadn't got listed yet, and reorganizing some of the bins of stuff that were listed, just consolidating them and moving some stuff around so we had some empty bins. But I picked up a few items here that I want to get listed today. So the first thing here are these Nike shoes. And yeah, they're just like a basic pair of Nike shoes. I think we got them in a lot somewhere, size 5Y, so we're going to get those guys drafted up here right now. We have a vintage Disney clock, which apparently may or may not be worth something, so we're going to go ahead and draft that up. And then below it are a whole bunch of movies, which, as you guys know, have been selling very well for us, so we're going to go ahead and get all these guys drafted, or we might even get those guys listed today. So that's the goal. I'm going to go ahead and take all this stuff out, lay it out on the table, and we can begin with the shoes. Okay, so I'm just about to list these Nike shoes, guys, and a quick tip here for anybody listing shoes. I think Adidas has a similar thing. But what you can do is you can go into the tail here. I have no idea what these shoes are. You know, I could put them up as Nike white running shoes or whatever, but ultimately I don't know. So what I want to do is I want to go in here and I want to read this number right here where it says 834. That number in the -100 is the number that I can search up on Google, and it'll give me the exact model, year, and all the information I need about this shoe and when it came out and what model it is, and I don't need to know anything about it. So I'm going to put that in the title, that actual number. I'm going to put the actual name and everything that comes up in that search. I'll put the size in the title, and I'll put Nike white, whatever the model is. So that's sort of a basic idea, some quick pictures, and we'll be on our way. But that's a very quick way to list shoes, and if you have no idea what they are, you don't need to image search them or anything. You can literally just look up that number and it will tell you what they are. So the shoes and that clock have now been finished, and I moved on now to some DVDs. So over in this pile, we've got all brand new sealed Blu-ray DVDs, which should be worth quite a bit. We've got a stack here of 3 sealed DVDs. We've got 2 open Blu-rays. We've got 3 used DVDs. And then a couple random things here. I think a couple CDs that are sealed and a PC game that we want to get listed. So I'm going to go ahead here and start with all these. I'm going to take a whole bunch of pictures, and I think we're just going to list these guys right up on eBay. All of these movies and Blu-rays and CDs and PC game at the top there, which I actually listed for 20 bucks, they've all been listed. Which is pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in a bin to go off to the unit, but I'm glad to have all these guys done. And now we can move on to some even more stuff, which is some other random stuff that I think I have from the unit. Okay guys, so I just actually looked through what I had else to list, and it was some stuff that I took pictures of at the unit. Some really weird stuff, like some plushy stuffed animal things. We had a couple vintage like different bottles and things of that nature, and some different vintage glassware that I didn't really want to transport back and forth. So I left it all there, with additionally some vintage Oreo tins and just weird stuff. So I've taken some pictures. I'm going to go through and draft all those guys up. But other than that, I have something very exciting that I think you guys would find much more interesting that I want to share with you guys. I just actually did some garage selling recently, and I want to share with you guys the haul that we picked up. Okay, so I'm yet to unpack it, but this was all the stuff that I picked up garage selling. It's quite a bit. I went along to a street sale, actually, that had a whole bunch of sales lined up all at once. And although I didn't really find too many electronics and things that I was looking for, some of the higher ticket items, I did find quite a few movies and video games and some other goodies down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to lay these all out on the table, and I can kind of go through
what I bought where, if I can remember, and how much I paid for everything. But I'm going to go through and lay this stuff all out so we can get a better look at it. Okay, so I've got everything laid out here, guys. Let's start out with just the movies. Now, these were the DVDs that I got, plus some that I have behind that are Blu-ray. But essentially, the bulk of these came from one seller. Now, what tends to happen is that people tend to sell movies from, like, literally you can find them as low as like 10 cents, but those people don't usually have that many. All the way up to like $1 or $2 is what people are normally selling them for at garage sales. Now, normally something that you can do is if you go right away when they just open and you offer, you know, to buy the whole lot, they'll tend to want a higher price. But if you go to the end of the day when people are kind of closing up and they don't really want to bring all these movies back in, they'll tend to give them to you for a pretty good price. So, I mean, I didn't get the best deal ever here. It's kind of difficult to negotiate at garage sales sometimes because, like, you ask them how much are your movies, and they're like, well, they're $1 each. And, you know, I might be like, oh, that's great, or that's too much. And depending on it, like, let's say they say $5, and I'm just like, it's too much. And then they're like, oh, well, which one do you want? And they don't know that you're trying to do a bulk deal, in which it doesn't really make any sense. So it does get a little bit awkward at times. You sort of have to walk away. So you got to try to find the people that you know will maybe be a little bit lenient on their prices, especially if they have other cheaper things at the sale, and that's just something to look out for. But anyway, this person had them all priced at $1 a piece. They had a massive tub. I said, how much for the tub? They said they have no idea how many there are. And whenever they want to count, that can also sometimes be bad. Like, I would prefer to just be like $50 for the tub. I don't really care how many's in there and you know, make a deal that way. But they want me to count them. So I counted 105 when I counted there. These are in stacks roughly of 25, so that kind of makes sense. There were some video games thrown in too, which I'll show you on the other side. But anyway, I gave him $80 for the entire tub, which was not too bad at all. And yeah, so we got, like, you know, movies for just under, I guess, $1 or so a piece. But a lot of them were box sets, and there were quite a few games in here, so I wasn't too upset about that. And I'm thinking that we're going to be able to sell these really well. Okay, coming around to the other side now, this is the pile of video games I got. Now, one person had 12 of them, I believe, that I offered them $10 for, and they took it, which was great. And the rest of them came from this lot here. So not too bad there. A nice little stack. Got this Lego set for $5. Not sure if it's worth much, but I figured it'd be a good pickup for $5, sell for 15 or 20, and we're on our way. Apple TV I got for, I don't quite remember. I got these two Apple devices here in some deal. So we got an iPod and an Apple TV. We'll probably make some decent money on those. And then finally, a nice stack of Blu-rays here, and I separate these because they do tend to sell quite a bit better than the DVDs. All in all, though, we paid $140 for everything that you see here, which is not too bad at all, 140 some odd dollars, which I think was really good. And we're going to get, obviously, way more of that out of listings. The video games alone maybe would cover that, but definitely some of these things will help. So essentially, we got a whole bunch of really free DVDs, which will be really fun to list and get some more stuff going on the second store. And ideally, we'll convert into some good sales. We've been selling DVDs and Blu-rays and games, of course, but all of these have been selling very well recently, so I'm excited to get these guys listed.
Okay, guys, with that haul kind of gone through now, that is actually going to wrap up today's video. I don't really have much else to show you here. We've done quite a few listings already, which I'm very happy about, and we went through all that stuff and organized it, which is something that I'm glad we were able to do. And we took a look at it. Let me know down below if you think those were good pickups. Again, it wasn't actually my best luck ever garage selling. Like, usually I can find some good vintage electronics or some higher end stuff or some cool, better bulk deals, consoles, whatever. I was there bright and early, and I probably went to, like, I don't know, 15, 20 sales, and that's all I came out there with. I wasn't super happy, but, you know, it's good stuff, and nonetheless, at the end of the day, it's more inventory to add to the store, and we'll be able to deal with it really quick here. So that's always exciting, and again, we're growing the store every single day, so if you want to join us on the journey or on the adventure here, be sure to hit the subscribe button, like the video if you enjoyed it, comment questions, concerns down below. I'll see you guys all in the next video.